Woe to you, O earth and sea.
It's the Hop Nation
USA Podcast. It's episode 203 of the Hop Nation USA Podcast. And after weeks and weeks of teasing and letting on and promising and doing all kinds of things, we're finally back out in the wild. Tonight, we're at Lincoln Avenue Brewery.
And thank God.
Yeah.
Thank all that is holy and decent. We're back out in the wild.
We're out again. But yes, it's me, Steve.
And this is Adam. We do have our tracking tags on us so
Right.
that the Game Commission can see where all we go.
Bill Gates activated our chips and said we could go out in the wild. So here we are. We're at Lincoln Avenue Brewery, right in the heart of Bellevue. And we are joined by Grant and Lisa. Say hello.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi.
We're back in the wild. We love it.
It's good to be out in the wild.
This is honestly so exciting to be able to sit at a table with brewers, talk shop again, in-house. I'm done with Zoom. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm done with it. I know we're going to be doing it again from time to time, but I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it no more.
Zoom misses just so many things on the list of human interaction. And this is one of the things that we've missed more than anything during COVID is that human interaction and people being out and smiling and drinking beer and eating food and hanging out and talking about whatever.
Right.
You can't
Talking
get
about
that
beer.
talking about beer, but you can't get that on a Zoom call.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. It salves the soul to sit at a table and drink a beer with friends.
Yeah, indeed. And so just for a little background, Lincoln Ave was supposed to be our brewery episode before we went on lockdown.
Yes.
So this is a makeup rain delay. This is the longest rain delay.
Damn, you guys are late.
We've been trying to get here for a year and a half.
Been trying to, government said no. But yeah, so we thought it was only appropriate that our very first brewery show back was with Grant and Lisa down here at Lincoln Ave. And we're happy to be here. And we're happy that they allowed us to come in. So
Yes.
yeah.
So welcome.
Good to see you guys.
You're welcome.
And since we're here and we're here to talk about beer, we should probably get into the first beer that we're going to have for this segment. So Grant, if you want to let us know what we're getting into, what are we drinking?
So this first one we're going to drink tonight is called Meat Amber. It's a 5.5%, pretty approachable amber ale. Of note, it's made with all CNC malt. So pale malt, Pilsner malt. Well, I shouldn't say all. There's a little bit of caramel crystal in there that was not from CNC, but the base malt and the Pilsner malt all from CNC. Cascade, Centennial, Warrior hops. Super approachable, easy drinking, nice amber ale. This is a kind of a staple here.
I will give some full disclosure to listeners. I snuck a little bit of this before we hit the record button.
Andy got scolded for it.
I
by
got scolded,
Lisa.
and correctly so.
You got told.
But I mean, I really like these malt forward beers, and yeah, it's a winner. I mean, I don't have to beat around the bush on this one. This is a really good beer. If you like a good malty amber, yeah, get this one.
Yeah, I'll totally agree with that. What I like about this one is it's not too sweet.
Correct.
Like there's a lot of amber beers that are very caramelly and sweet forward. This one isn't. It's actually pretty dry, and I don't know. I like that.
I do too. Yeah, this is a far and away a winner.
Excellent. Yeah, I use an English ale yeast in this, so it definitely brings out the malt and doesn't over accentuate the hop. So it's really a well balanced amber.
So is this a beer that's typically on tap at most times whenever you come down, or just when available, or whenever the mood strikes you?
Yeah, when it's available. We've had an interesting run through COVID. We've thrown some things at the wall to see if they stick. Some of them have stuck, some of them haven't, obviously. But yeah, amber makes its way through the rotation pretty regularly.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it because that means I get to drink it.
Yeah, so it's definitely an Adam style beer. He likes these. You're also a big fan of the Abjuration one as well. So
It's true. Well, I just like ambers.
I know.
What can I say?
I'm just saying there are good ambers in Pittsburgh. If you're that kind of person, come check them
Yes,
out.
and I
One's
am.
at Lincoln Ave, one's at Abjuration.
Make a day of it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Pretty sure there's a good one down at Grist's house. So yeah.
We just need to start an amber trail.
I'll see if we can get that into the passport for next year.
Oh, I like that. We'll put a pin in that one.
What you can't do is start an Amber Alert, though.
Oh, jeez Louise. We're not even 5 minutes in.
I'm back out in the wild.
He's already working blue.
I'm back out in the wild. So you already mentioned it, Grant. COVID is taking a toll, as it has on everybody's brewery. And we've talked to some breweries throughout the year about it, but we haven't heard your story. And yours is somewhat interesting because last time we talked to you, you guys were not even open yet. And then you opened, go back to episode 88. We're down here in February before it was even open. And you're serving us samples out of your growlers. But
yeah,
eventually you opened in July 2019, which means you weren't even really able to celebrate your 1 year anniversary before COVID took everything and turned it on its head for you. So
yeah, we had about 7 months that we were open, and we were really just hitting our stride by March when the world kind of took a quick turn. But you know, it was one of those things. So yeah, we didn't get to celebrate our 1 year anniversary, but we were able to kind of learn a lot of things through COVID, grow in a lot of different ways that we didn't think we were going to, or that we ever would have to. Mm-hmm. So COVID really made us kind of more cohesive as a team. You know, our team really rallied behind us. Our team, when I say team, it's a really small team. But we were able to keep most of our people employed through COVID.
Oh, that's
almost
fantastic.
All of them employed through COVID. You know, we really pivoted. So as you guys know, as maybe some listeners don't know, we have a kitchen here and we serve food. So prior to COVID, we were doing maybe 30% of our sales were food. Well, here comes COVID, and that completely reversed. So where a lot of breweries were pivoting and leaning into canning and other distribution models, we don't have that as an option. Mm-hmm. We don't have canning as an option. We have a very small system. We don't have the space or the capacity to can. So we had to pivot. We found, we sold a ton of growlers. We went from 30% food to 70% food and a ton of takeout beer, but we only had growlers to lean on. So, so we really had to pivot. There were times when we did delivery in the early part of COVID. And if you ordered food from Lincoln Avenue Brewery, it was myself, it was her, or my son who would be at your door dropping off your food and beer.
That's fantastic.
We did what we had to do, and we're thankful really for the community around us that really supported us during this, because it was magical. It was just a really special time to be in a small community brewery like this.
We've heard that a lot from a lot of different brewers that we've talked to. The same thing where a lot of the neighborhoods and a lot of the towns came together and said, you will survive this. Yep. We will make sure of it, that you guys will get through this.
Absolutely.
And the story after story that we've heard of the support coming in, like for Steve and I, we typically do some home brewing. We haven't home brewed in a year and a half.
Right.
Because it's turned into, we need to support the local breweries. So that everything went from our beer to everybody else's beer because they need it more than we do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was interesting. I mean, there were times where not a day would go by that some person from the community wouldn't show up and bring us, a box of cookies or a bag of cookies or some little thing to just kind of lift us up in the midst of that.
Who'd have thought that COVID would bring out the best in humanity?
Especially in communities. But just to jump back for a little bit of more context, Bellevue has been a dry town up until 2015.
Correct.
So Prohibition didn't end here, but you guys ended Prohibition in a way as being the first brewery in this community. So that's another reason for everybody to come together to back you, because they haven't had anybody else. And two, if they don't treat you well, they're going to lose you.
Yep. Right.
I'm pretty sure most people don't want that to happen.
No, we have a pretty good support network out there, and we thank them every time they're in here.
Good. So is there anything that you have taken from COVID that you're going to continue on even after everything returns back to normal? I mean, we're hopefully very quickly reapproaching that, but is there anything in terms of processes or I would say functions or anything like that you're going to take and run with even after the pandemic is over?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things. I think that one of the things that COVID has done just in general is show us that we have opportunities to keep our spaces a little neater and cleaner. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
What I was going to say is we from the very get-go, because I'm a crazy person, always made sure that everything was clean. And it was funny because when we opened back up, people were like, oh, we're coming to you because we know you're keeping that place spotless, you know, so which is funny. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's that. And just, you know, we learned a lot about our food process as well through COVID. We learned a lot of what people liked, what people didn't like, what people were looking for. So we've fine-tuned some things on that aspect. We've done some different things. I think I was mentioning before we got on the air. I started to barrel age some stuff during COVID. So we'll look to keep a lot of that going. But yeah, it's just, you know, we didn't really change a whole lot. You know, we didn't shift to canning. We didn't shift to bottling or anything like that. So really, we just kind of had the opportunity to refine some processes that we had in place.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So last episode, we spoke with Scott Smith of East End Brewing, and we were talking about mostly the Pittsburgh Brewers Guild, but we also touched on some of the things that East End did, especially during COVID, and one of them was the PA Loophole series of beers. We talked to him on his side of it, but I know your brewery has participated as well, and you have some Loophole 4.0 to buy right now.
Yeah.
But how did that process come about? And obviously, because you're not canning, this was an opportunity for you to get some sort of beer in can.
Yeah, so definitely kudos to Scott and Brendan out at East End. They approached this in a way that really helped a lot of people. So being that we didn't have the opportunity to can, Scott sent an email out. God, I couldn't tell you when the first one was sent out, but just kind of, you know, testing the water to see if anybody would be interested in participating in it. And, you know, the name's great. It's a loophole in the LCB code that I can't sell anybody else's beer to go. But if my name's on the label, which it is through the collaboration process, that we can do that. So it was huge to be able to participate in that. And we've participated in every level of that. So if you're looking for PA Loophole, stop by. I have some of the 3 and the 4. But fantastic beers. Definitely kudos to them at East End for even putting that together. That was very thoughtful of them and just kind of helped a lot of people. And, you know, when we help each other, all boats rise and the craft beer community moves forward. So
similar vein to where the community came together, the beer community came together, you know, the business side came together to make sure that everybody made it through as best as we could.
Without a doubt.
Right on. We already mentioned how you weren't able to celebrate your first year anniversary, but obviously it's looking pretty damn good that you're going to get your second year.
Yes,
so,
we are.
Do you have any plans for that you want to let people know about, or just, you know, things to get people excited for?
We do. I'm going to actually let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, is this an exclusive?
It is.
Yes.
You guys are breaking an exclusive story.
I love it.
That's what we like.
Yeah. So we are going to be having on July 31st our outdoor. We're going to close down the street and we're going to have an outdoor festival-ish kind of thing. And we're going to have an East-West band. So my brother's in a band out in California called Grandpa's Grass. So half of the band's coming in. And then there's another band here in Pittsburgh with guys that he used to play with, and they're going to be playing. So I'm really excited about that.
Right on.
You know, it'll be fun to play.
It's a good old-fashioned block party.
Exactly.
Exactly. And yeah, so we'll have the street blocked off. We did an Oktoberfest back in October, obviously. And we blocked the street off. We had socially distanced tables. We had a band. We had food. We had beer. We had a great time, and people were coming out and saying, "Oh my God, thanks for doing this. We needed to get out. We needed to hear live music." But we're gonna, July 31st we'll have an event out there. June 19th we're doing this pretty much the same thing. I have a band called Jimmy Mack and the Attack that'll be playing here from 4 to 7 on the 19th, Saturday the 19th. We'll have beer set up outside to sell. We'll have food, the whole 9 yards. So we're looking forward to a couple real fun events over the summer just to get people out and hearing music. But our second anniversary is going to be on the 31st, and it's going to be a blowout.
That's
We're gonna
awesome.
have a blast.
Nice. So yeah, June 19th come out here, and then July 31st. Yeah.
Yep.
And then come here a couple of times in between.
Yeah. Get some sandwiches, load up your beer guide, get some stamps.
But don't drink all the amber because I want some of that. So does that sound like I'll even call it a concert series? Is that something that you guys would be looking to do on a semi-regular basis, even beyond your anniversary blowout?
Yeah, we're looking to do at least one more. We're looking to do at least 3 of them over the summer.
Okay.
And we'll block this block right here off.
Yeah. Music's really important to us. And, and community is really important to us. And this is a way to give back to the community as well. We'll just have a great time, bring people together and just have a good time. Music heals the soul, and we need it right now.
Agreed on all accounts. And if you need a couple of street toughs to go make sure people are all right out there, talk to Steve.
I gave up my security days a long time ago.
I say, don't talk to me because I'll be at the bar.
I gave up bouncing a long time ago. That ain't me no more. That ain't my life.
Don't worry. Starlight brings everybody back in.
So, talking about other events, we're already looking at September for Pittsburgh as far as just the return of beer fests. Have you been contacted or reached out to anybody, or are you looking at any beer fests in Pittsburgh coming up? Is that something you're excited to get back to? I know not everybody is, but
So here's the interesting thing. We have never, well, let me take that back. We did pour at a kind of a small function shortly after we opened, but we have never been able to. I was going to do the big pour last year. Well, not last year, the year before.
Right.
2020 didn't count. That doesn't exist.
Right. 2019, I was going to do the big pour.
Every time somebody says last year, it's like writing the wrong year on a check.
Yeah. So, but 2019, I was supposed to do big pour. And all of a sudden, one day, my glycol chiller shit the bed. And I ended up dumping 4 barrels of beer down the drain.
Oh no!
Yeah, because they went up to 100 and some degrees. Yeah, it was it was 90 something degrees because it was really hot in here.
But they weren't convex, so they had to go.
So I had to bow out of the big pour. So we have really never poured at a major beer festival in Pittsburgh. I've gotten a couple emails recently about some upcoming stuff, but I don't know if they're all still on, what's off. It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
We're still in that period of fluidity.
Exactly. But we certainly will look forward to, I would love for them to do the big pour again. That's usually our anniversary week in September. So we'll see. But yeah, we definitely want to get back out and, we've been to a lot of beer festivals as drinkers or as drinker and
driver.
No, not driver. Just, person that makes sure I don't get in too much trouble.
Handler.
Yeah. Handler. Thank you. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, we're hoping to get into a couple here this year or next year at the latest.
Awesome. I look forward to that as well.
Yeah, me too. It's a great way to get out and have people try your product and try other people's products.
I'd say as long as you bring that amber.
Yeah.
You've already had the amber. Try something new.
On the list.
I know is what I likes.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's definitely some coming up here in Pittsburgh that, like we said, we already know September is pretty packed. And then we also talked last week with Scott about the traveling beer market that Beers of the Berg is putting on.
Yep.
And I don't know everywhere that's going, but if it's, in a West Side neighborhood, I wouldn't be surprised to see Lincoln Ave and Abjuration and maybe a couple other people show up at that as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah. That'd be good to see.
Say that seems like the kind of thing the Aurochs would be involved in too.
Yeah, Aurochs.
They're
Yeah.
right
They're
down
also
the
West
street.
Side. Yeah. They's around here.
Half a mile from here.
Yeah. So yeah, don't be surprised if you see that coming up. Is there anything else as far as returning back to normal that you're excited for, as far as, like food service, anything else that you see on the horizon that you can't wait to get back to?
Yeah, so once I'm looking forward to full bar service, just not having to, just to be able to open back up and have everybody sitting at the bar. We haven't been able to do that yet just because of the size of our spot. So we had to keep tables at the bar. So we're really looking forward to just having people back to be able to talk to them at the bar.
Sometimes it's the simplest things that have the most impact.
Absolutely. Really excited about that.
So an interesting thing to go along with that is that to-go law has been kind of held up, I believe.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear about that.
That you're still allowed to do to-go cocktails.
So
that does not apply to breweries.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
Well, no, you're right in that was carried out.
Okay,
but G licenses, so brewery licenses, unless you have an R license. So like Cinderlands has an R license, I believe. I believe they have an R license.
Okay.
There's a couple of the larger breweries, like Penn Brewery.
Yeah.
They definitely have an R license. They can serve, cocktails to go.
Okay.
But any brewery that you go into that's only selling Pennsylvania products, they have a G license, and you cannot. They did not extend that courtesy to us, unfortunately.
Okay. I get it. Like, I sort of get it now.
Right.
That's always like a thing you have to ask somebody who's actually in the business to explain a little bit more, because I'm sure it's even more convoluted for them, but they have to learn it.
Yeah, it's R licenses versus G license.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say they've already done the homework for us, for better or worse. You know what I mean?
But you guys still have some fine cocktails that you can get here to drink inside. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, we have plenty of those.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's come back to the beer that we were drinking, the amber.
Can't.
I know. Well, it's gone, but
Gone already.
you can still say whether you liked it or not.
I mean, if you've gotten to this point and you haven't figured out that I like this beer, that's kind of on you, Mr. or Mrs. Listener.
Well, maybe they were skipping forward.
Well, then go back and start from the beginning.
Maybe they're looking for a twist.
No.
Let the people know there's not a twist.
There is no twist. This is a good amber beer. It's got a good malt flavor to it. It's straightforward, and it is fantastic in what it does. It's good ass beer. I got nothing else to say about it.
Appreciate that.
It's a good ass beer.
I can say that too.
Yeah.
It's not a style that's like on top of my list, but it's sessionable. It's drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely something I could see if there's an Oktoberfest out here on the streets.
When?
Yeah, when. But
Right.
you can definitely put a couple of those down and break it up a little bit.
Yeah, and feel good about yourself.
Yeah. It's not too heavy. It's not too sweet. That's what I really like about it, is it's not too sweet, because I've had some multi ambers that are like drinking like taffy and caramel pulls.
Almost getting into maple syrup territory.
A little bit.
Well, and the other nice thing with this beer is, if you are a hardcore IPA drinker and you're crushing hops left and right, try this one for a round, because it'll give you that good palate switch up.
Yeah. Reset your palate for a second.
Yeah. And I think this would be a great beer for that as well. And if you're not an IPA head like me, drink it, because it's not fully laden with hops. It's just a well-crafted beer with a malt forward profile.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just good ass beer.
Okay. Cool. Well, we're going to take a quick little break, and we'll come back, segment 2, and we'll be talking a little bit more about Lincoln Ave, everything on the rise, and we're going to have a new beer by them. Stay tuned.
First Sip Brew Box is a one-of-a-kind subscription service for craft beer lovers based right here in Pittsburgh. Every month, First Sip will send you a box full of craft beer enthusiast essentials, including t-shirts, glassware, and even food. Right now, our friends at First Sip Brew Box have an offer for you. Just sign up for a 3-month subscription and get your 4th month free. Just enter the code HOPUSA when you sign up at firstsipbrewbox.com. That's HOPUSA at checkout to get your 4th month free at firstsipbrewbox.com.
It's episode 203 of the Hop Nation USA podcast, and we're still here at Lincoln Avenue Brewery, right in the heart of downtown Bellevue, Pennsylvania. I'm still here with my co-host, Adam.
That's right, because he's my ride.
And we're also joined by Grant and Lisa of Lincoln Ave, of course.
What's up again, guys?
Welcome back. Thanks for not leaving us alone in your space. You would find a lot of empty bottles had you did that.
Yes.
But yes, we're talking to Lincoln Ave, and of course, we're also drinking Lincoln Ave brews. And so, Grant, why don't you introduce us to the next Lincoln Avenue Brewery?
So the second beer that we're going to drink tonight is it's a product of COVID. So, you know, as anybody who has brewed or shopped or gone anywhere during COVID, everybody knows that supply chain has been a hot mess in just about every industry in the world. Same with the beer industry. So there were times when getting product took a little bit longer than anticipated, had to brew something. This beer came out of an exact situation like that. So I needed to get some beer into a tank, looked around, I found out what I had, and I just scratched out a recipe on a piece of paper, plugged it into my software, and made the beer, and it turned out fantastic. Mm-hmm. So we really liked how it turned out. We ended up calling it Quarantine Unmasked. So it's a West Coast Pale Ale, 6.5%. It's loaded up with Citra, Mosaic, Cascade, and then pretty aggressively dry hopped with some Mosaic and Citra as well. Really a nice kind of, in my opinion, a nice, well-balanced, not huge IBUs. It's about 68 IBUs, I believe, is where it clocked in. So it's not over the top. Mm-hmm. If you remember Bulldog from last time you guys were here, 97 IBUs. Mm-hmm. It's a little tamer than that. So you might actually be able to drink this.
I'm gonna drink it. Don't you worry about that.
Oh yeah.
And I will say one of the first things that I noticed was the nose on this beer. I mean, it presents itself very well. Like, hey, there's going to be hops in this. Get ready for it.
All those hops that are in there, they kind of play well together, and traditional kind of West Coast style. Mm-hmm. An interesting note on this yeast is, or on this beer, is I used a Kvike yeast on this beer. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with those, but they really rip through a beer pretty quick. Mm-hmm. It kind of helps to speed that process up a little bit. Mm-hmm. It still needs adequate time to rest and mellow and things like that, but it'll rip through a 6.5% beer in 72 hours. Tops.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah. So it was a different strain of yeast than what I typically use for Bulldog or any of those other bigger IPAs.
So now that you've used it, is that something that's kind of come back into regular rotation for use?
Yeah, it has, and I've actually used it on a couple other styles as well, just to kind of test them out. And I'm pretty happy with it. Mm-hmm. I don't use it in a lot, but
you've got it on reserve, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times those yeasts are used for beers that you want to like hot firm, because the yeast is so strong it can stand temperatures like above 90 degrees for fermentation.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, the Kvike yeast, I don't even hook the fermenter up to my chiller. Oh. I just let it go.
Just let it ride.
I just let it rip. And I'll come in, it'll be 95, 98 degrees.
And it does not care.
Bubbling, blowing stuff all over the place. Yeah, it's pretty, I like to call it an aggressive bitch. Mm-hmm. It literally, I've come in and stuff is just blown up all over the walls, all over the floor.
Just making a scene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It lets you know it's there.
Nice.
So, on to the beer itself. I see where you're coming from with having that. It is a bit more malty than one would expect with just a straight up West Coast IPA.
Right.
And I do appreciate that.
Yes, I can see how this would be tolerable for you, Adam, but it definitely does have a good bitter back bite to it, the way you would expect. And it has a lot of those citrusy, and I get a lot of not as much grapefruit, but more just orange notes.
Yeah.
Rather than
a little bit of piney, piney note on it. Yeah.
And it's got a little bit of a hop residue on it after you've taken your drink, so you still know what you drank after it's down the hatch.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's more aggressive than a New England, but it's not so. I mean, I guess not that you could even find it anymore, but the Green Flash palate wrecker was always that.
Oh, great beer!
Great beer. Man. But that was always kind of the tent pole for anybody if you can't drink that,
Yeah.
That beer was a bit of a separator. It's like either you really, really liked West Coasts or you didn't.
Right.
This is nowhere near as aggressive as that. So, but yeah.
But similar to the amber where I was talking in the last segment of if you're drinking a whole bunch of hardcore IPAs and you wanted to switch it up, I could see this as being the type of beer if you're drinking a bunch of hazies and you want to get into a palate wrecker. This is a good one to kind of step your palate in that direction instead of going, just hard throttle 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is good. This is also good if you're drinking like a bunch of sours.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just anything to switch up your palate. And,
right.
Yeah, give you something else to go for. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. And Adam is going through it.
That is right.
He's there.
Yeah.
But if you have listened to any of our episodes before where we have IPAs on the show, if I don't like it and Steve does like it, that means it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So let's move on. You're talking about how this was developed within the pandemic, and I wondered how a lot of brewers took to that, because obviously, a lot of people's production had to be changed, but also just your open hours and the amount of time you actually spent in the brewery changed. How much time did you actually start dedicating towards creation of recipes or creation of new beers? Or again, you were saying, supply chain was all screwed up as well. Like how much adaptation did you have to do? And,
a lot.
What new beers came out of that?
Yeah, there was a lot. So, I mean, I started brewing some Goses, which I hadn't done pre-pandemic. Quite a few new pale ales came out of COVID. Mm-hmm. And a couple of them were out of intention that I wanted to go in a certain direction. A couple of them were this hop that I normally would use wasn't available. So how can I use what I have or what I'm able to get to be able to create something new? So there were a lot of new beers. We cycled through a lot of new stuff, and we got good feedback from people. If it was something they didn't like, they told me they didn't like it. I don't think that happened though, did it? I'm kidding. There was one that just turned out kind of odd. It was drinkable, but odd.
Right.
It was a weird combination. I don't even remember what it was. But anyways, it won't be back.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of things that came out of that, both on the food and the cocktail side. So, we played around with a lot of new cocktails, some new infusions, different things like that. We did mocktails during the time that we couldn't sell alcohol, So yeah, we really did. We had a lot of time to kind of create and kind of rethink some things and do some new things. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. And a few of those will, they'll stick around. They'll be back.
I know that you had mentioned on the food side that there was some experimentation. Was there anything in particular that's going to continue on that was a big hit?
Yeah. So we started out when the pandemic hit and we got shut down and we had to go to all takeout. Mm-hmm. Our regular menu that we had was not very well situated to be able to transition into a to-go menu. So we kind of cut a couple things off right away. Then we started to do different specials. So we did cheesesteaks. We did, some meatloaf dinner kind of stuff, family style meals that people could come and get. But one of the things that we started doing that has stuck around now and is now in every Tuesday feature is we started making Reubens.
Yes.
So we make our own corned beef. We make our own sauerkraut. We make our own Russian dressing. The only thing on the Reuben we don't make is the Swiss cheese and the bread. So we make all that in-house. And now every Tuesday is Reuben night. And people show up here because it's Reuben night. We started doing burger night on Wednesdays. We use a local butcher shop right down the street here, Tom Friday's Market. He does a blend of chuck brisket and short rib for us.
Ooh.
And best burger you'll get. It's a half pound on a Breadworks brioche bun. Can't beat it. It's the best thing around. And then we also do street tacos on Thursday night. So, those are some specials that were pretty popular throughout that have now made their home on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights.
Right on. Yeah, that's great.
It is. It almost sounds like it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Because he just kept going and you kept going. It's like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. There's that too. Haven't even gotten to Friday yet.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's on top of the menu that was already good.
Right.
You guys still have pickle dip, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We're still friends then.
Pickle dip's important.
Yeah, we still have pickle dip. That can't go anywhere.
Right.
And then we still have our huge pretzels that we make our own mustard and beer cheese. Yeah, they're pretty tasty.
I knew pickle dip was still here. I just needed other people to know pickle dip is still here.
You have to have somebody tell you. You have to have
Right.
that verbalization. I understand that.
Plus, there's people who are out of town. They don't know to come here and they can get just a nice chopped up pickle and then it's all good.
We
And eat a
try-
sandwich.
You're baiting the hook.
Yeah, I know.
We try really hard to not run out of pickle dip. But on the rare occasion that we run out of pickle dip and the table comes in and first thing can we get pickle dip? Sorry, we're out of pickle dip. The look on their face is it's priceless.
Just
yeah.
booze.
I just hang my head in shame.
Yeah.
There's people in Wisconsin listening right now that are just salivating.
I think I
Load
need
up the Silverado.
Yeah.
I think I need to put a green light outside.
Pickle dip.
Yes.
A green pickle light. And if it's on, we have pickle dip. If it's off, we don't. We're out of pickle dip.
The light is on.
This is the number of times you would see cars like slow down and then speed away.
Kind of like that Krispy Kreme. The donuts are hot. The pickle dip is here.
Donuts are hot. Yeah, I know I've also had like some sandwiches here as well. And just, the menu has always like impressed me, especially for a brewery that's, just so new. I don't know if we talked about it on that episode because I don't know if you were ready to talk about the menu, but yeah, who is the mastermind behind your kitchen?
So when we opened this, I had the menu locked and loaded. I knew exactly what I wanted when we opened the doors. But it has evolved over time, and that is in just 100% because of the creativity in the kitchen. So right now, Chef Victoria and Scott, they create things. They bring them out. We talk about it. We change our menu seasonally. So I would say probably within the next few weeks or so, we'll transition into a few new sandwiches for the summertime. But we sit down, we talk about them. We talk about how they're going to be in production. Is it doable? And we go from there. But I give Scott and Victoria just 100% creative license to do their thing.
They're the best.
Yeah, they come up with some really good stuff. And if you follow our Facebook page and you see the Nashville hot chicken on spent grain waffles that they threw out over this past weekend, just fantastic. We were in Memphis when I didn't get to try it because we were in Memphis, unfortunately. So Victoria and Scott, you got to make that again.
Was that their way of teasing you? You go to Tennessee and they make Tennessee cuisine?
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, every once in a while when I brew, one of them will say, "Hey, we need more spent grain," and I pull some out and I throw it on cookie sheets and dry it out, and they use it for all kinds of stuff. So. Kudos to them because they are just amazingly creative. We have a really tight space, limited equipment, and what they put out is just fantastic.
So with the spent grain breading, was that something that just sort of naturally showed up, or is that something that you wanted to do from the beginning?
So we had played around with that. I mean, I've played around with that at home when I was home brewing, making dog treats and stuff like that. It's always something that's been on the radar, but sometimes, when you're super busy, it doesn't really give you the opportunity to do some of those things. But cooking with the spent grain, we've done spent grain waffles. We've done some like little, almost like graham cracker type things that we put on our charcuterie boards that are made out of the spent grains. Anything we can incorporate spent grains into, cakes, cookies, whatever, we try to do that. I just don't like to see it go to waste.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that there are several breweries out there that have those different programs of,
Right.
because you got to do something with it.
Oh yeah.
And it's impressive what some of the creativity that comes out of how you're going to use those spent grains. This is just another one on the list.
Yep. And we do not throw grain away. So I have, I'm kind of in the bottom part of the curve right now. So I have some hog farmers and cattle farmers that come and pick up a lot of the grain. Like right now, a lot of them have, they went to slaughter in the fall and they're just coming back on board to start picking up. But I have local people around here that have chickens and they come. I put a bunch of grain out there today, and by tomorrow morning, that'll probably be gone just from people coming and grabbing it to feed their chickens. And I look at the comments on our Facebook page about the grain. I'll post something about I have grain out today, and there's like people tagging other people and, hey, take your truck and bring a whole bunch down to this neighborhood. So yeah, it's, people use it, and I would much rather people use it than take it out and throw it in my dumpster.
Right.
I'd rather it goes back to some good use, either feeding chickens, feeding hogs, cattle, whatever. Or people.
Feeding people.
Or people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so the listener knows, throughout that entire food conversation, I gained about 4 pounds just hearing all the different stuff that's coming out of the kitchen.
But
we have fun, and that's the name of the game. We have fun doing it, and yeah.
Yeah. And it's something that we're seeing more and more emerge, like in different markets. Like I know there's like granola bars that are made with spent grain. I know there's like bread. And we talked about not too long ago a brewery that's also attached to like a pizza place, and they use spent grain in their pizza crust.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great that you guys have figured out your own way of just reuse.
Yep.
No waste. So yeah, we like that. You mentioned it when we were talking about this, the amber, that you use grain from CNC malt. Since we're on this grain train, Adam likes that one.
That's a good one.
Grain train.
We're on this grain train. But CNC malt, for people who don't know, is a craft maltster out of Butler, PA, and they take care of like germinating and creating very specialty malts, and they're used in a lot of beers across Western Pennsylvania, and I believe even farther at this point. But you talked about the amber. Is there any other beers on tap or recently that you have used CNC to feature their malts?
Yeah,
or
definitely.
How common are they used in your recipes?
So I try to use a lot. I need to do more. There are times, again, where I just need to get something real quick and I run down to Ambridge to get it. But I do try to use CNC as much as possible. So I have a Bohemian Pilsner that I'm on my second batch of now. That's all CNC Pilsner malt. Fantastic. I mean, have you guys been up to their place?
We have not been to the actual facility, but
Okay.
we've had interactions with Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan and his wife Juana are just amazing people. They bought an old elementary school, so they are traditionally floor malting Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio grain, and just to have that local terroir in the product is phenomenal. Not to mention the flavor component of it is just so bright, crisp, clean, but also it's keeping that money close to home. Now, I wish I could buy everything from them, but we're slowly working towards ordering more. But everything that I've gotten from them has been absolutely fantastic. And I would encourage more people to reach out. If you haven't talked to Brendan, to reach out to him and just, get to know what they have to offer, because they really do have phenomenal products.
Yeah.
And they've also, I believe that Brendan is going to be starting to pelletize hops for some local hop farms this year.
And that was going to lead me right into my next question of, other things such as hops and adjuncts and things like that for local, use. Is there anything else that you're able to, acquire locally?
So I've gotten some hops from up at Hazy Days, Hop and Lavender Farm. There's another local hop supplier.
Sorgels?
No.
Okay.
You tried.
Yeah. It's the only one I could think of after that.
Actually, Hazy Days is kind of a part of.
Oh, is that part of Sorgel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I've never heard it called that. I'm sorry, I've never shopped there.
But
For hops.
Yeah, there's another one, and the guy popped in one day and he actually brought me some hop shoots, which were really cool.
Oh.
But I've gotten some stuff there. I have a buddy down in Ben Avon who I do that amber with some local wet hops every fall.
Oh,
so if you
okay.
want to try that, that's pretty awesome.
You let me know when that happens.
Very refreshing.
I will be here.
Like I try to get, anytime I use honey, I try to get local honey, like Bedelia Farms out in Burgettstown. Fantastic people. Yeah, we try to keep as much as we possibly can local.
Yeah.
It's hard when you're a small operation,
Right.
to do that sometimes, but we make every effort. If we can get it locally, we get it locally before we go outside of local.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, you already mentioned it in passing, like getting your meat locally sourced from down the street. So yeah, there's always, it's nice to hear that, it's still all community effort, because, we started the episode talking about the community coming back and supporting you through the pandemic.
Right.
And then you're also supporting all these other local businesses by featuring their products and, selling them.
We even do a Lincoln Bakery donut stout.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, right across the street. Yeah, we did a donut stout. That was, and of course that got kind of screwed up with COVID as well. That was set to release like the weekend after the lockdown.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
That was rough.
But for those keeping score after mention of that donut stout, I'm now up to 5 pounds gained through this segment, and I'm okay with that.
Well, there's a dolly right behind you if you need help getting to the car.
Just roll me out.
It's all right. It's all right. Everybody's allowed a pandemic 15, post-pandemic 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
15. Sure.
Yeah, sure. Of course, just one last note on your locals. You also, on your liquor bar, you also feature a lot of PA, distilled whiskeys, bourbons. Who else do you feature on there? Do you have like Quantum Spirits or?
Yeah, so we have, so we get everything through Pennsylvania Libations, and I mean, I buy rum direct through Maggie's Farm. I have some Big Springs whiskeys. So Big Springs is out in Bellefonte, PA. They have a place up in Cranberry.
State College.
Yeah, State College. Yeah. But yeah, so we literally just a few weeks ago started to do a Bourbon Flight.
Oh.
So we have 7 different bourbons, and you get a choice of 3 on the Bourbon Flight. So we have Stolen Wolf, we have some Kinsey, we have some Liberty Pole, we have MLH, which is up in Grove City.
Okay, yeah.
Phenomenal bourbons, let me tell you.
I actually just bought a bottle of, I believe it is their cracked vanilla rum yesterday. And it is
From
sitting,
MLH.
yes,
Yeah.
it is sitting in my kitchen right now, waiting to be cracked open.
Well, crack it open. Don't
wait.
don't sleep on that.
Nope.
Yeah, MLH is putting out some really good products, and one of their owners actually brought me the barrel that I have that 11% espresso stout sitting in.
Oh.
Yeah. So yes, they're can't say enough. Their cask strength rye whiskey.
Ooh.
Wow.
So if you come here,
I'm getting the mouth salivation.
Right.
You're gaining pounds, but I'm just getting like, I need to have some whiskey.
Yeah. Sounds like the kind of place you come after payday.
Yes, this is the payday place. This is also an Uber place.
Yes.
And be all full of sandwich and whiskey and beer.
And speaking of beer, what do you say we get back to this quarantine unmasked?
Yes.
This I'll say malty West Coast IPA.
Sure. I would just say it's a very classic West Coast IPA.
Yes.
But it doesn't burn your palate out. It isn't going to blow you up too much. But it is a good switch up if you've been drinking a lot of soft hazies, or if you've been just drinking something of a completely different profile like an amber or a sour, and you just need to switch up and kind of pop your taste buds a little bit with something. Yeah, I think this one fits pretty well with that.
Yeah, this is definitely a well-crafted beer. Perfectly honest, not for me.
Nope.
But I mean, if you've listened to any episodes, as I've said before, that shouldn't be a surprise. But yeah, this is definitely a well-crafted beer, and this definitely has its place on the menu.
Yeah, that bitter back end I figured would kill you. So
A little bit.
He's still standing though.
yeah,
That's right.
It's fine.
So what do you say we take a quick break, reload,
Yep.
and get us another beer? We'll get into segment 3
Sounds good.
right after this.
You know what pairs nicely with a good beer? A bad movie. And that's exactly what we do at Hops and Box Office Flops, the internet's premier podcast dedicated to reviewing bad movies and mostly good beers. So join us on a hop-fueled excursion through some of Hollywood's biggest bombs.
We've covered everything from the fungus-laden streets of Dino Hatton with the Super Mario Brothers to the oddly horny felines of Cats 2019.
You can find our show on any of your finest podcast providers.
And follow us on social media at Hops and BO Flops. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll drink your face off.
Welcome back to segment 3 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. It's episode 203, and I'm still joined by my co-host Adam.
Because he's still my ride.
And I'm still Steve. And we're still joined by Grant and Lisa down here at Lincoln Avenue Brewery in the heart of Bellevue.
What's up for round 3?
Yes, Grant, what indeed is up for round 3? What have you made for us?
So I already drank mine, but I'll kind of walk you through. Oh, I see you guys have been nipping at them too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So this is a lime and sea salt Gose. So as we talked in the last session, during the pandemic, I started to mess around and make some Goses. People had been asking about them. Traditionally not a style of beer that I would gravitate towards, but when people ask you for something, you tend to try to want to make that happen. Mm-hmm. So I started out, I think the first one I did was guava. It was a guava Gose. Turned out really nice. From there, I went to a strawberry, then to a blackberry, then back to a strawberry. And then for summer, I just kind of landed on a lime and sea salt. So it's 5% crushable. And then what you guys can't see is the Gose, which is a cocktail that we're making with that beer that's been really well received as well.
You'll see it on social media.
Yeah. So the Gose, a Gose is just really a soured wheat beer. Mm-hmm. So it's a whole bunch of white wheat malt, some Pilsner malt, some acidulated malt, Tettnang hops, and it's just soured. And then it has copious amounts of lime, so about 88 pounds of lime in that 5-barrel batch.
Oh my!
About a pound of sea salt, pound of coriander, kind of rounding it out, and it's a super drinkable, refreshing lawnmower beer. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm advocating mowing your lawn and drinking beer.
However, if you wanted to be poolside and drinking this beer, I mean, that is absolutely perfect. This is a poolside crusher. That is what this beer is for. And it is, like Grant said, I've been nipping at it a little bit. And I'm back in the game with this beer.
Right on. I had to reel you back in after that disappointment in round 2.
So I know Adam's going to sing its praises, so I'll go first. I'm not that I'm going to say anything bad. I'm just
That's fine.
Adam's going to need his time.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, this lime and sea salt it's become kind of a known flavor as far as goes. I think everybody knows the Dogfish Head Sea Quench, but compared to this, like the Dogfish Head doesn't achieve the lime brightness that this one does. And honestly, like you're talking about how you're already making, to-go Zaritas with this. If you weren't, I would suggest it because I don't like tequila. Don't like it. Makes me throw up. I hate it. So drinking this, it tastes like a traditional margarita, not the Mad Mix slushy trash.
Yes.
But it tastes like a traditional margarita without the tequila that makes me throw up.
Right.
So I like it very much.
Because
you might want to slide that away from him because he is your ride.
he is. That's right. Bring that over here.
I mean, I'll take a little nip here and there of it just to get a profile for it. But yeah, I like straight up tequila shots could never do. And occasionally you get a hold of a real, it's a well-made margarita because it's full of tequila and it's not full of sugar. But I can't handle those either.
Right.
And I get like that. I get that gross wet mouth immediately, and I go, oh nope, this is bad.
But yes, with this beer, this is definitely something that if you're poolside, get all of it that you can.
Yeah, you can blast a lot of these.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely worth picking up a growler since they don't can. You definitely have to pick up a growler to take it to a pool.
Yes.
But once you get it there, it'll go really fast.
And if you don't have a pool, go buy a pool.
Yes.
Then come buy a growler.
It's worth it.
Well, however you got to make that sequence happen, just make it happen.
Oh, man alive.
Yeah. But that is really great as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, go ahead and sing your praises.
I mean, I don't know what else I can say. Like you said, yeah. I mean, this is a poolside. I like that it definitely it has a lot of the lime. Do you know what kind of lime is it? Is it a baseline lime? Is it a key lime?
It's a concentrate, not a concentrate. It's fresh lime, but it comes in a liquid form.
Gotcha.
Big aseptic
Puree.
pack. Yeah, it's a puree.
Okay.
Right.
The aseptic purees.
Yeah, aseptic, exactly.
God, I hate their advertising.
Yeah, but their product is really, really good.
It's nice to hear that because I cannot stand their ads. I don't even know why I get them so much.
That was going to be my question: is why are you getting those ads?
Like the little bags.
Yeah.
With the little face.
Yeah,
on
the
it.
animation is terrible.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
2000.
obnoxious.
Yeah, it's 2005 Flash Newgrounds level animation.
But the product's pretty good.
Right, they spent their money where it should be spent.
Yeah, fair enough. But Aseptic, if you're listening, please hire me to just redo your ad campaigns because God, I hate looking at them.
Are you going to start a bully campaign with them to pick up work?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You heard it here first. I haven't gotten into the cocktail yet.
Well, you can do that.
I could do that.
You can do that.
Somebody else talk for a minute while I get into this.
So while Adam gets a little taste of the cocktail, we are going to play a game this segment. And we're bringing back a game that we played on pretty common occasion. It's a good way to get into the beer headlines, but we're definitely not ripping off PTI and their game Wörde.
No, certainly not. Absolutely not.
Yes.
This is totally original thought.
Right.
Nobody has ever done this before.
This is Wörde with an E.
Wörde.
Wörde. It's not where I was putting it, but fine.
But essentially what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a statement with a blank, and your job is to fill in the blank. And I'll start off with a real easy one. It's not necessarily current events.
Fair enough.
But this first one is.
Okay.
So, with the recent development of the PLCB allowing full capacity and full drinkability in your bar, the first day of full capacity, free range brewery day is going to be blank.
Epic.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what other word to use. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at epic. You have a different word? What's it going to be?
At this point, I'm speechless.
I mean, you might be on that day.
Right? Right? Absolutely.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I think Epic's going to be really great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
I think that people are still going to be exercising some caution. I don't think that May 31st, this whole thing is going to be behind us.
Right.
But I think it's a turning point, and that it's going to be kind of a celebration of coming out the other side of this.
Yeah.
So epic is the word I'm going to stick with.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I mean, yeah, I just really feel like we're at the point now that you can make a choice and not have it made for you like before there was a vaccine. Now that you can go out and get a vaccine pretty much anywhere you want, and it's not too hard to do it, then you can exercise those choices of caution and not caution.
Yes.
I personally, if I don't have to wear a mask in a place, I'm not. But I still do respect the 6 feet thing if I see somebody who does have a mask.
Right.
I'm not trying to get up and cough on anybody, even though I'm vaccinated and,
Well, even
not trying to be a
even
dickhead.
in the before times, you shouldn't be coughing on
Exactly. Exactly. We should have had 6 feet and masks before all of this, just so you're not gross and sharing germs on people for strangers. Like, it's awful.
All right, Steve, I'll let you get off the soapbox.
I'm done. Just
All right.
personal space.
That's right. Bubble. Stay out of my bubble. So the next one is putting a brand new beer on tap for the first time is blank.
Oh, man. Let me think about this one for a second.
Epic.
It can be. No, I'll stick with the E words. I'll take E for 500. Exciting. Exciting in that it's already passed the test. If it's coming out of that tap, it's passed the test and it's worthy of coming out of that tap. And I don't know if I sounded like an asshole saying that, but I just can't serve a beer that doesn't meet the quality standards that I have. So exciting because I'm putting something out there that we spent time developing, and my son and I brew, and we're putting it out there for the first time. It's exciting. It's nice to see people's reactions. It's nice to hear the comments. Some people have some not criticisms, but I'd like to taste more of this or whatever. But it's exciting. It's exhilarating.
Oh, he's still more evil.
Yeah.
So I guess that brings up a question for me. Do you have a small pilot system that you use here in house?
Our system is a pilot system.
Yes. It's called my brewery. That is my pilot system. So I mean, and that's a great question. So we bought a 2-barrel system. We probably talked about this like way before we opened. We bought
Number 88.
episode 88.
Good.
We bought
Thanks for the plug.
We bought a 2-barrel system. We were the 3rd brewery to use this system. We had all 2-barrel fermenters. Once we opened, we just got our ass handed to us. We were so busy. I couldn't keep up with production. And we ended up, at one point shortly after we opened, I'd have 4 or 5 beers from other places on tap just to fill the taps. So shortly after we opened, if you look up there, you'll see 2 nice, shiny 5-barrel fermenters.
Oh, yes.
That kind of saved us from having to just serve other people's beer. So a pilot system, I would love to keep that, move up to a 10-barrel system and use that as a pilot system. We're not there yet. Yeah, we're not there yet.
Okay. So I really like that answer because that actually rolls right into the next one super easily.
Okay.
So it'll be blank when Lincoln Avenue Brewery expands.
Oh, it's another E word.
It will be a relief.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's 2 words.
Relief. Relieving.
Relieving.
Okay. Care to expand on that one?
Yeah, I mean, so I get probably 5 or 6 calls or emails a week of people that want to buy beer to put on tap in their places. I have a couple on tap down at Mike's Beer Bar. I've had some at the 412 Project out in Moon. I had a beer on tap out at Willow. But right now, capacity is just not to a point where I have enough capacity to really distribute. Mm-hmm. And even if we wanted to can, we don't have the capacity to bring in a mobile canner. Right. A mobile canner is going to come in for a minimum of 5 barrels. Mm-hmm. And to bring a mobile canner in to do 5 barrels is just not, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's cost prohibitive. Mm-hmm. So when we are able to have that bigger facility and bigger brew house, it's going to be a relieving.
Yes, absolutely.
Lisa, do you have a word for?
It'll be magical.
Magical.
Yes,
I like
my word.
No, that's the word. I'm all about the magical. No, but it will be. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how quickly people have caught on to the beer and back to the community, how everybody's just been so wonderful. And it's you can't complain about a problem that you have a hard time keeping your taps full, right?
That's good problem.
Exactly.
Right.
But on a little tiny micro system like this, it is a little difficult to do. But, it's a blessing, but it will be relieving and magical.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it will also open up a couple other avenues for us. So all of my brew equipment is in the kitchen. So I brew on Mondays when we're closed. And if I brew on any other day, I start at 4:00 in the morning, so I can be done and wrapped up by the time the kitchen crew comes in to get ready for opening at 4. Mm-hmm. So having a space where I can brew and not have to get up at 4 in the morning, magical.
The alarm can be set for 7.
Right.
Nice.
All right, your next question is, it's blank when breweries use ridiculous ingredients when creating new beers.
Experimental.
Back to the E's. I like it.
So I'll just expand on that real quick because I know where this could go.
Mm-hmm. And you can go there if you want. We don't mind.
Well, no. I'll just tell you that doing a stout with glazed donuts from the bakery across the street was a stretch for me. I always tell people that I try to make beer flavored beer. Mm-hmm. Now
That's where the Gose came from because other people wanted it.
Yeah, but there are a ton of breweries out there that are doing some crazy stuff. So, some toasted marshmallow, peanut butter cup, milkshake, IPAs. It's great. I think it's fantastic that people push the boundaries and do different things. It's not necessarily my style. Mm-hmm. I'll try them when I go out. 9 times out of 10, that's not a style that I prefer. It's not a style that you're going to see me brew a lot here. Mm-hmm. But I think if somebody wants to dump Captain Crunch into a beer, knock yourself, do it. Yeah. Do it. See what happens.
At this point, there's no rules.
Yeah. Right. If people hadn't broken the rules, we'd still be riding horses.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm all about it. I think experimental. People push the boundaries. It's the people that push the boundaries that help to elevate the game.
So I'll ask you this question. Is there any ingredient that you've kind of looked at that you would like to use in a recipe that you haven't yet that's kind of piqued your interest?
Ooh. No, not really.
Again, he's very
classic.
Yeah. I mean, no, I can't really say that there's anything that I haven't already done that I've.
Well, me being gluten-free, I would love to have seltzers personally someday.
Okay, I guess I'm going to make seltzers.
Just saying.
I enjoy a good seltzer from time to time. I mean, you put that down here with Reuben Tuesday. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Adam and a seltzer on a Reuben Tuesday.
Really, on Reuben Tuesday, you could just throw it out the door at me and I'd still be happy about it.
There you go.
Yeah. He's a sandwich animal.
I am a sandwich animal.
Yeah, not really a whole lot of adjuncts that I've thought about using. There are hops that I haven't used that I'd like to try to work in somehow. Mm-hmm. But there's thousands of varieties of hops.
Right.
Hey, there's Jimmy Mack.
He's going to be playing on the 19th. Hey, Jimmy Mac.
And if that's not community, I don't know what is.
But yeah, I wouldn't call myself an experimental brewer, but I applaud those that do.
Well, when you get your pilot system,
Exactly.
you can have just Wild Out Wednesdays.
Sounds like maybe something down the line, like you ply his son to, to start.
Right.
Dad, we're doing Captain Crunch today.
He'd be the one to do it.
Well, thank you for that. That was an
quite
excellent
welcome.
round of Wörde.
Wörde.
We're still workshopping that one. There might be an umlaut in there somewhere.
Weird.
Weird. But I wanted to come back to this Gose.
Yeah.
Steve, thoughts?
Yeah, this is one of the best kind of this style lime and sea salt Goses that I've had. Like I already mentioned, the flavors are so much brighter than that you get from the Dogfish Sea Quench. And you mentioned earlier about like the limes that this is made with. You mentioned key lime, and anytime people hear key lime, they think sweet. This isn't sweet.
No.
You know, this is much more of a baseline lime down the middle. A little bit of sourness, but it's not overly sour like a grapefruit or a lemon. I really enjoy this one. And also it does taste like a margarita without tequila, which is great.
Yes.
Because one, you can drink a whole bunch more than you would. Tequila gets you. And two, it doesn't taste like tequila. I know there's hundreds, if not thousands of us who cannot stand tequila.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
So, yeah.
And you don't have to go to Mad Mex.
Right. Yeah. If you're looking, I mean,
There you go.
they have tacos here too. So,
Exactly. And Rubens.
yeah, you're saying
Take that, Mad Mex.
Yeah, you're saying seltzers and Rubens on Tuesdays. I'm saying sea salt and lime Goses and tacos on Thursdays. So, yeah.
That's a good combination.
Yeah. And for those taking score at home, I'm up to 7 pounds throughout the show.
Well, what you really want on Taco Thursday is the jalapeno cream ale that I have that'll be done.
I can do both.
in about a week.
Really?
Do both.
Yeah, that's a big seller for us.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Machete.
That actually sounds like he pulled that out of your portfolio, Adam. That's one of yours.
It is one of mine. I assume that his is better.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
But still,
that's
come
a
on
hard
down.
assumption to make.
Yeah, come on down, and you can compare notes.
Damn. So yeah, I'll just say this is a great beer. This is a good beer to get in the growler, take home, take on the back porch, get onto the pool deck, and just have a good, relaxing day.
I'm going to defer to you, Adam, but what are your thoughts on the cocktail as well?
Oh, it's also very good.
Okay.
So unfortunately, as I understand it, the cocktails are not able to be taken with.
As we
Right.
learned.
Yes. Well, they can be taken with. They just have to be taken with internally after you
Internally,
drank
yes.
it on site.
Bring your own bag.
Yeah. I am the bag.
So come down, get the cocktail, and then get the growler to go
Yes.
of the beer.
Yes, but no, again, that the cocktail is very well crafted. I enjoy it. This would be, like you said, fantastic to go with Taco Thursday
Yep.
and Reuben Tuesday because I just want a Reuben.
Right on. Hungry.
Yeah, I may or may not be hungry
Yeah.
right now.
All right. Well, coming to the end of the show, and we get to do something that we haven't been to do too much during the pandemic.
No, and I'm looking forward to it.
But we can do it again. And Grant and Lisa, as you may remember, we love to make brewers put their own beers against each other and pick their favorite child. So we're going to do the podium, and we'll come to you last because that's your honor to do that. But Adam, I'll start with you. Gold, silver, bronze. How do you rank the beers that we drank tonight?
Well, I think we know which one's going to be in the bronze position.
Yes.
Which one of them?
It's going to be the West Coast IPA, and that has nothing to do with the beer itself. That comes strictly back to my personal preference. It is a well-crafted beer. For the style, it is an excellent beer. It is not a beer for me. That is my palate. That is my problem. Not Lincoln Avenue's problem. Now we get into the hard part. That amber's really good, and that Gose is really good. And I don't know which direction to go. But I think, and I might regret this later, but I think I'm going to go with the amber in the silver medal position.
Ooh.
For one reason and one reason only. The Gose can be used in a margarita. but the amber cannot.
Versatility.
That's exactly.
Bonus points.
Exactly. It can come
The
at you from
accessory
multiple
kit.
directions. Yes. So I think I have to put the Gose in the gold medal position. All three are very well crafted beers. I mean, you're not going to lose out on any of them. But I got to go West Coast IPA bronze. I got to go amber in a very strong silver. And I got to put the Gose in the gold medal position.
Fair enough.
Steve, what are your thoughts?
A little bit different from yours.
I had a hunch.
But bronze, I'm going to put the amber.
Mhm.
It's fine beer. I like it enough. It's also just a very classic standard style.
Mhm.
I believe it would go well with Hamburger Wednesday. Just to get Adam down here again.
Again or still?
Right.
I'll just be in the parking lot up the street when
Yeah.
you guys open.
I'll get home. Can't stay here. But yeah, just very classic style. Silver is going to go to the Quarantine Unmasked West Coast IPA. Again, just very classic flavors, things that you recognize, things that you can enjoy. And also from Grant's story, brewed in a pinch, that, it came out very well.
Mhm.
And just to repeat that recipe is, that's good.
Agreed.
I like it. But man, that Gose really surprised me because it is just so bright.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just like the fact that it's 85 out and I'm getting hot and sweaty. And
It cools you right down.
yeah, it just really cools you right down. And porter is still the best beer here forever, always.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah. It's one of the best porters in the city. People should, we talk about Allegheny City Brewing,
Mhm.
and their Deutschtown Brown is one of the best browns in the city.
Yeah.
The porter here at Lincoln Ave is one of the best beers. But damn, that Gose is really, really great too. And maybe think about keeping that one on throughout the summer.
Oh yeah.
Just on and off, do one, then do a raspberry, then go back, and then do something, and then go back.
Steve will write up a schedule for you.
Yeah, I'll get you down.
Yeah, just email it to
Yeah.
me. Huh? Yeah.
But with that, we're going to come to Grant and Lisa. It's time to rank your babies.
Wow. Well, she's out because she doesn't drink them anymore.
She can
So-
still like one on looks.
So if I could still drink them, I would go with the Gose first.
Mhm.
And I would go with the Quarantine second. And I would go with the amber last. I would have in the past started with amber, but then my palate started to change.
Mhm.
It's flipped over to, to the hops, but then I decided to be gluten-free. So now that's not there for me.
So I have to go. Quarantine is my top pick.
Mhm.
Amber and the Gose would be in the number 3 spot for me, and that for me is preference.
Fair enough.
It's preference for me.
Mhm.
I'm not a huge sour beer guy. I'm learning to like them.
Well, if you have any left over, let me know.
Yeah, basically just call Adam. He'll tell you. He can give you a good judgment on a sour beer.
Mhm. Well, I was just going to drink them. I'm not going to give him a judgment. I'm just going to drink it.
But I mean, if he, obviously Grant is learning to like them, but you already really like them.
This is true. This is
So
true.
you're a good barometer. You
Yes.
can just go, yes,
Right.
this one's a good pass.
So and the other thing, talking about getting into the Goses and the sours and Berliner Weisses and things like that, there are some of them that are very sugared up.
Mhm.
This is not like that. This is not a sugar bomb,
Right, yeah.
and that's another thing that I really like about it. Is it doesn't just overpower you with just sugar just shoved in your face.
Right.
Right.
It's what it is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord, if I could remember what episode, but we did a whole episode on Goses and their history and how they originated in Germany. And
Mhm.
it's based on the water profile
Mhm.
being extra minerally and salted. That's where they come from. And this is much more in line with that traditional style than what you're getting with if somebody puts out a smoothie sour or something. Those are usually, hyper candied. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Oh,
'cause
absolutely. I've drank gallons of those.
I'm into those. Yeah, I'm into those as well. I'm not, but this is much more closer to that tradition, and with the just the additive of a bright lime.
Yes, it's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, excellent, very excellent beers tonight. Grant, go ahead and just take the time to plug everywhere people can find Lincoln Ave, internet, remind people of events coming up, just anything going on that you want people to know about.
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm the worst guy in the world for that, but If you put in Lincoln, type in Lincoln Avenue Brewery, you're gonna find us. If you type in Lincoln Ave Brewery, you're gonna find a brewery in Calistoga, California.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sell French fries. I know that because people call here and try to order fries, and I explain to them that we don't have a fryer. Yes, it's on your menu. No,
it's on somebody else's menu.
So if you type in Lincoln Avenue Brewery, you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram. We have a Twitter page, but it's not active really. So events, the June 19th is going to be a great event. We're going to have the street blocked off. We'll have food, beer. You'll be able to come inside, get drinks. And then July 31st is the big blowout 2-year anniversary party. We're probably going to try to do another one in August. All I would say is, if you haven't been out here, stop out and try us. We have a nice location on the main drag. We have some outside seating. Of course, unless it's raining, then we don't put our outside seating out. But it's a kind of chill place to hang out. We have a great staff. Our service staff is top notch. Be hard pressed to come in here any night of the week and not see either Lisa or myself here. So stop in, say hi, become part of the family, and hope to see you guys out.
Oh, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now that I know there's Rubens here.
Right?
So main takeaways, everybody. Rubens on Tuesdays, tacos on Thursdays, pickle dip and porter. Come and get it.
And if there's a bad beer here, we don't know about it.
Yeah. But thanks again for Grant and Lisa to having us out here and sitting down and talking with us. If you want to find us on social media, all you have to do is search Hop Nation USA, and that'll get you Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you want to listen to brand new episodes of Hop Nation USA podcast every Friday, as you should, then search Hop Nation USA in your favorite podcatcher like Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Player FM. Anything that starts in pod or ends in cast, we're on there. Leave a 5-star review because
we are a 6 Reuben sandwich show, but they only let us use 5.
And that's a bigger crime than Rubens being only 1 day a week. But yes, thanks again for having us here.
Yes, this is a
Great
fantastic time.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, guys.
I'm glad you guys were the ones that we got to come and visit first.
Oh,
This is fantastic. This
Yes, it
was
is.
great.
Yeah, we're excited. Glad you guys made it back out and
Glad you guys made it through the pandemic.
back out in the wild.
We're always happy for businesses that we like and continue to thrive. So yes, and we'll definitely be back out here for sandwiches and hopefully be back out here for your 2nd anniversary. See what's going on with that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Excellent.
But yeah.
So, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, listeners. Thank you for sticking around with us through us on Zoom.
Yes. They're going away, but we're going to still do some, but they're going away.
But they're going away. Yes. So thank you, everybody. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode.
Yes.
All right.
That's going to happen.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Check out Halloween is Forever.